very well, family. Thank you for tuning in and welcome back to Journey Through Alkebulon. To all of my new subscribers, thank you so very much. And to all of my subscribers who have been with me, I thank you very much. I promise that you all will enjoy the content on this channel. At least I hope you will. I mean, I can't promise, but I hope that you will. And I am so grateful to have you all come along on this journey with us through this beautiful continent of ours, Alkebulon. So this video is about how you can move to Africa. So I will just give you my perspective and you know, my journey and how I was able to move. Now, if you look at all of the videos, I try to put them in chronological order, like from the very beginning. But this video will just include, what I went through to make the final decision to actually just move to the continent. So let's get right into it. So how long have I been wanting to move to the continent? Is this something that just came about, or is this something that I have been wanting to do for quite some time? So the answer to that question is, it is something that I have been wanting to do for quite some time now. And it just got to a point where things were lining up and the spirit was moving me to actually just do it. How, did I choose where I want to go, or where I was going to go and reside on the continent? Of course, there are so many wonderful YouTubers out there, a part of our family, who have been putting in a lot of work exposing us to the various beautiful places that we have to reside in on this beautiful continent of ours. So I just went through and started to look at some of those channels, some of which were, of course, Traveling Sister. And she is based in Tanzania, so definitely tuned into that sister's channel, and so she gave me a lot of wonderful insights about Tanzania and what I can expect, and just how life is here in general. And as you all know, we are currently in Tanzania, and we will be moving on to West Africa soon. So yeah, I looked at her channel, so many other channels. I mean, there were just so many YouTubers for Ghana that I can't even name. There isn't one person that kind of sticks out. But I watched a lot of YouTubers concerning Ghana. I knew that initially, Ghana was like #1 on my list. And again, I've been wanting to do this for quite some time, probably for the past, I've always wanted to move back to the continent, but I'm saying really considering it heavily and really putting in some plans and contemplating to actually make the move. It's been for a couple of years. And so initially I wanted to, I had my eyes and my sights set on Ghana. And, Aburi Ghana, to be specific. And I really was just in love with that place. And I had not even been there, but I can get a pretty good sense of things. I've always been that way, just reading energy and very intuitive. I have always been a traveler. It's just not to such... this type of traveling, internationally, but within America, I have lived in several states, and I've never been afraid to just go after my dreams, and just settle into a new place. So, Aburi Ghana, I was just, looking at like so many videos about Ghana, just feeling the vibes and taking in all of the information that the various YouTubers had to offer. And again, like I said, I just fell in love aesthetically. Aburi Ghana, I mean, the whole continent is just absolutely beautiful. Really, you can't lose. But Aburi Ghana was just so aesthetically pleasing, and it just seemed so peaceful and beautiful. And so I was just like, that's it. That's like where I want to be. And then I had a coworker who is from Ghana, and a really close old friend of mine who is from Ghana as well. And so I was getting, a lot of insight from them, and they were just like, yeah, Aburi is beautiful. You're going to really love it there. So my sights were set. And then some time passed. And that's when I just, I started to venture out, because again, initially I was just looking at Ghana. So that's like when I was first like heavily considering, repatriating to the continent. And I was just looking at anything Ghana. And then I broadened my horizons, and I expanded my search to other places, and that's when I stumbled upon Traveling Sister. And of course, like I stated before, she's based in Tanzania. And then I just started to look at various other YouTube channels, discovered the Gambia. There was Black Sid, and then there was Black Acres of the Gambia, to, just to name a few that kind of just stuck out to me. And loved like the vibe that I was getting from, the Gambia. And then I was also considering Sierra Leone, because my great-great-grandfather is Wallace Akuna Johnson. And so you can Google him, and I am his great-great-granddaughter. So I, wanted to move there, and I was considering Sierra Leone as well. Now, on my mother's side as well, my matrilineal ancestry line, my mother is a Jola, and so they are from, her particular tribe. They're from Guinea-Bissau. So they're the Jola, they are the Ajamatu, that's what they call themselves. And so, again, they were from the Guinea-Bissau area, but Guinea-Bissau, Senegal, Gambia, all closely knit together. So I was considering, lots of other places, and how I came to decide, where I wanted to be initially, Tanzania, because of business. So that's how we ended up in Tanzania. Why did I decide not to actually go forth with my plans to move to Tanzania? Because I was initially planning on moving to Tanzania after I crossed Ghana off of my list. And the reason why I crossed Ghana off of my list after falling so in love with Ghana, Aburi Ghana, is because of the cost of living. And so I started to run numbers, and just, of course it was aesthetically pleasing, but the whole continent is. And I started to get really serious about, all of the pros and cons, and how I wanted to live. I knew that when I came back to the continent, I wanted nothing to do with, financial struggle, debt. I did not come here to continue to struggle like it is in the States, that hustle, that bustle, and you're just, making ends meet, or, paycheck to paycheck kind of thing, hand to mouth. I was not interested. And so I knew that wherever I decided to lay down roots, that it had to be smart economically. And so Ghana was just like too expensive. And especially after the year of return, the GDP went up, and Ghana was just totally crossed off. I said, I can always visit, but to live there, it didn't make sense for me, and the type of life that I wanted to live on the continent. So Tanzania was the next place. We came to Tanzania from August to September of 2019. And we were here for 2 weeks or so, and it gave us a wonderful, more in-depth insight of, the people, the culture, the environment, and so glad that we took the trip. And I was all set to go. I had fallen in love with Arusha in particular. Dar es Salaam was just way too crowded, extremely busy, very congested. And so I crossed Dar off of my list. We did stay in Kigamboni. I love the beaches. The beaches were absolutely beautiful, but just too many people and too congested. And so when we came to Arusha, I was just like, because it was just total opposite, a lot more calmer, and the people are just not so congested. It's just the whole aura of the place was just more calmer, more, not so hustle bustly. I mean, the people do hustle here, but again, it just wasn't as congested as Dar. So just really loved it, and the climate was different. Now, I don't mind hot weather. I'm a hot weather girl. I don't mind it at all. Dar is a lot warmer than Arusha. So Dar is, of course, the beachy side, and then Arusha is the mountain side. So Arusha, there are times where you do need a jacket, a heavy jacket. It has really cool nights, and so climate is a lot cooler in Arusha. I just really fell in love with the environment here. And so I had liked it so much that I put down a small deposit on a plot of land here when we were here in August and September. And then I got home and from our visit, and I again just continued to look at other channels and just continued. I meditated a lot, and just really trying to make the right decision as to where I wanted to lay down roots. And of course, as you all know, I do have a son, a teenage son. So I had to make sure that wherever we moved, that it was also, that was good for him, So he too did not like Dar es Salaam. He liked Arusha. The caveat was the language barrier. So as I got home and I started to speak with my son, he said, yeah, Mom, I really like Arusha. However, I'm really concerned about the language barrier. And so, he was concerned that he wouldn't be able to really make a lot of friends because of the language barrier. And of course, I don't want to put my son in a position where, he feels isolated, or it's difficult for him to communicate and make friends. And so that weighed heavily on me, and I understood because it was an issue for me too. Yes, we can learn Swahili, but that takes time. And so one of the major reasons why I decided to move to the continent is because I wanted my son to build long-lasting friendships and brotherhoods, with children his age, in particularly, male children his age. I just wanted him to be around peers and, again, build really solid relationships that are more so like, brotherhood as opposed to just, casual friends. And so it's really important to me. So I did take that into consideration. And I felt like, us not speaking the language and it taking time for us to learn the language, it was probably best that we lay down roots somewhere where the language barrier was eliminated. So that was one of the major reasons why we decided to just explore and consider other places. There are also some other reasons why, you know, we decided to look elsewhere other than, you know, Tanzania. We still love it. Love Tanzania. We have loved being here. We will always come and visit Tanzania. And I would encourage, you know, you all to come and experience this beautiful place because it is absolutely beautiful here. And so we started to look at other places that, you know, where English was, you know, spoken. And Gambia came up on that list. And just reading about, you know, the culture, again, me being, you know, a Jola and from the Jola tribe, which is in that whole Senegal, Gambia, Guinea-Bissau area. So just, I love being like near beaches, you know, so I love being on the coastline. I love being near water. So Gambia has so many beautiful beaches, but there's also a support system there. So, you know, you have diasporans that have come there. And so that was also very important to me, just knowing that there was a big community of diasporans that I could connect with, and Josiah and I could connect with. Also, just looking at the culture and the environment itself, and how does the community interact and how do they come together, is also very important. And I noticed while watching several YouTubers that Gambia throws a lot of, like, they have a lot of festivals, and they put on a lot of community-based activities, and that really attracted me, you know, to Gambia. I reared my son in Atlanta. He was, you know, he moved to, I moved us to Atlanta when he was a very young child. So he was about 2 years old, and, you know, I moved us to Atlanta. Didn't know a soul, but again, that didn't stop me. So, and it was the best decision. So we lived in Atlanta for nearly 8 years. Loved the A. Love the A. Love it. It was one of the best decisions we ever made. Just very family oriented. And so there were always festivals going on in the A all year round. Just very, again, just community based, family oriented. And that is something that we really appreciate. And that is, you know, something that we always look for. And so Gambia, just as I stated, watching other YouTubers, they were always posting about various events and community events and things to bring the community together. And I really appreciated that. So it was another attraction. So of course, you know, the beautiful coastline, I could, you know, live near the beach. There was a community of diasporans that were already established there. And just it being very family oriented and having a lot of community festivities to bring everyone together. So those three things really attracted me, you know, to the Gambia. Cost of living, it's a bit higher than Tanzania, but it's still manageable, still very much so manageable. And so, yeah, that's why we chose the Gambia as our place to really lay down some roots. So, yeah, so just, again, it took a lot of meditating, you know, and again, with the help of several YouTubers, but ultimately I had to go within myself, and I had to meditate, and I had to weigh the pros and the cons again, as it relates to, you know, the cost of living, and also as it as it relates to my business, and how could I go about setting up a business in this particular country. I know, you know, in Ghana, just reading up on how much you have to establish a business, if you don't include a local Ghanaian, but also even, you know, including the local Ghanaian, it's pretty steep. So yeah, so just making, you know, just seeing, you know, what are the policies, and what's the protocol, and what type of procedures do I have to, you know, go through to establish my business. Also, what was very important was citizenship. Now, Gambia, they are reviewing, I think, their constitution, to possibly consider extending, you know, citizenship to diasporans. So the fact that and we, you know, the CRC, we were able to write into, you know, the CRC, and to just to give our perspective on why the Constitution should be edited, and to include a clause in there to allow diasporans citizenship. So the fact that they were even open to getting our input, and that they were open to considering it, you know, was also something that I appreciated. Although I must say that it's not something that we should have to ask for. We should not have to ask for any government here on this continent to extend citizenship to us. We were forcefully, our ancestors were forcefully, you know, taken away from this beautiful continent. And so we are their children, we are their descendants. And so we should be welcomed back with open arms, no questions asked. Of course, those of us that are, you know, seeking citizenship and seeking to come back home, of course, you know, we would be contributing, you know, to the economy and to the community, and coming to live in peace and harmony. Absolutely. But we should not have to, you know, beg or plead or even ask for citizenship. That's not fair to us. So I did want to say that, but the fact that they were, you know, wanting our input, and considering implementing that clause, was it meant, you know, a lot to me. And so that was another reason why we considered the Gambia. Tanzania is not so, it's not easy. It is not easy to obtain citizenship. It's difficult. I mean, some say that if you're here for 5 years, you know, good behavior, you know, I guess following and abiding by the Tanzanian, you know, laws, that one could go and apply for citizenship. Also, you're not allowed to own land here in Tanzania. So that was also, you know, an issue, you know, as well. So, yeah, so those were all the things that, you know, I considered when making the decision where we wanted to lay down roots. So I am going to now go into part